Supreme. What up, y'all? You already know the vibes. I was building, yo, and I got a little concept I wanted to give to everybody, especially the parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this is like a great opportunity to take advantage of this type of particular thought that I'm having, right? And, you know, I think on a broad spectrum of reality, and we kind of have oversight because of the things that we feel and what we go through. This is me dumbing it down right now. We have oversight for things that we feel and what we go through, and then we learn from some of these things, but we don't, like I said, we don't get the 360-degree knowledge of the particular understanding so you can apply it in the right circumstances, understanding that there is a circumstance for this knowledge. What am I talking about? Well, for the most part, we're all learning the connection to divinity and what that means through spirituality via the road it took for us to go through turmoils of the turmoils that our parents went through and their parents and so forth, and on oppression or whatever else. We're learning what spirituality is. And for the most part, it's always when you are conscious enough to learn the pure unconditional love for the Creator itself, the divine creator of all creators and creations. When you can love that energy unconditionally is when you start finding yourself given from the universe responsibilities to take on, to test if you are mentally sound and emotionally mature enough to deal with these things that are happening, with the changes and that come in the world by your decisions and how you handle yourself, how much that becomes a second nature for you, right? And it's real deep because as children, that energy is more potent in sincerity. The children's energy is 10 times as potent in sincerity. So to allow them naturally to be what they are and then still have an understanding of when they're not around you, no matter what's going on, they can go within themselves and reach for divinity. They can go through themselves and come back out of themselves because they are in tune with the creator of all things. They are a part of the larger power. Even though they're a small drop, they're still a part of the force of everything. So to be stable in that energy when you're young, when you're in your one digits, right? An infant even. And then you get a chance to go through your first 10 years. That's 7, which is completion. That's 8, which is infinity. That's 9, which is ending. That's 10, which is the one that starts over and bring you through that. Now you've mastered that understanding from 1 to 10. Now you're walking in that because it's second nature. So from 10 to 7, you recreate the value. So when you turn 17, you have mastered what it takes to live that energy and be that energy in the same. What if you were showing your child that and giving them the understanding to have that as a force of energy with them? Their protection bubble comes way earlier. Way earlier. Instead of waiting until you an adult and you went through so much and you had to do shadow work and you had to go back and get the innocence and you had to face this and climb this hill and put that down and pick this up and relearn this. Instead of going through all that, teach them now what's real to hold on to, right? And if they holding on to that now, then the time itself, the mathematics going to take over because that's going to be their base integrity. That's going to be what is based off. You see what I'm saying? So in that notion, there's no more tower moments. There's only the divine tower that never falls because that's going to be known. So we're talking about surpassing faith, belief, everything all in one because it's given to them at the right time. Ashe. All praise due to the Most High. And once you understand what that is, you become that energy way before. You're in a whole nother dynamic at that point. Allow them to have that as an option. Most of the time, the situations don't call for them to even understand anything more than what propaganda can expose to them via the entertainment, because entertain is the most accessible way to grow. So let's entertain the hell out of them with anything else. Well, you know what? This spirituality is fun too. You just doing it in a way that everybody else wants to keep it in some type of box, when divine knew everything you was going to do before you did it. It created your timeline. So you can't hide. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to speak to divine when I'm ready. That's dumb. Divine looking at you be the donkey. He made you that way to be the donkey. You might as well do it with the Most High in the first place. If you're not immorally out here trying to go out here and hurt nothing, destroy nothing, you out here just being yourself. Do it with the divine and let the divine give you all the experiences that's going to come with that, but with the full protection, with the full understanding of what that's supposed to be. All praise due to the Most High. Every experience is supposed to be experienced with the divine. It's not like divine is not watching you. It's just you that are unaware or unsure of yourself. So since you don't like your actions, because somebody might have told you that your actions are wrong, so now you felt the words from those people more than you ever felt the connection to the divine, but you never thought to think, why are you involved in that anyway? Maybe you were supposed to go through that shit. Maybe you were supposed to come through that to make you, to forge you into being something else, because that's what life does. It forges you. You change through circumstances and situations. But for the most part, we don't carry our full self when we going through that. We leave pieces behind because you're trying to structure yourself to be somebody else out of fear or whatever. All praise due to the Most High. It's just something to think about. You know what I'm saying? And if the kids had that fortuity of connection, they wouldn't have no prejudices. They wouldn't have no fears, because they'll always lean on the divine. They won't lean on what their friends said. They won't lean on the prejudices or where they came from or the structure of what the system had. They won't give a shit about none of that, because they're going to be like, wait, divine. Even if it's right there in their face, they're going to be calling on divine. Let that be the power that they structured by, instead of your misconceptions of realities as warmongering adults. What do I mean by that? Yeah, you're constantly in a mental state of war. You come from war. You fought with your people. You have thoughts and things that you ain't put down, and it's structured the way you handle people today. So you're constantly in a war with yourself. You got like 30 wars going on inside of you. And you agreeing with some of them and you hating some of them. You're fucked up on the inside. You're not conducive for nothing. So how you think anything else is going to be of value? You're going to create more of that because of your own shortcomings? So now you're creating this problem that everybody else got to deal with. That's selfish. When you got the same mouthpiece that anybody else got, and instead of not taking responsibility for what you are, understanding where it came from, even if you have to deal with something, you don't get to choose the people you deal with. You just end up having to deal with it. So when you're dealing with it, these things that hurt you, give it to the Most High. Don't get stuck in your life and say, these things hurt me, and I never gave it to the Most High and had that cup refilled by the divine. Because keep in mind, what was taken can be given back. Divine gives all back. Once you realize that that's what you should be standing under. Yeah, you are part of it. But only when you submit that in this flesh, your light can't shine the way it needs to where you're not going to get the fortification to move forward. You have to submit at some point. And the world likes to usurp the ways of the characters that we're supposed to use for the divine for individual people. The only thing you're supposed to do towards individual people is pray through them to the divine. You filtering energy. So from your point, when you see somebody that needs energy or need help, you pray through them, not for them. Pray through them, not for them. Through this individual, divine, I send my energy through directly to you to strengthen this light point. Divine said, pray to me through my son. I see a lot of his sons out here. That just blew everybody's mind, I know. That's why they got confused before and they thought it was praise for people. No, we knew to send the energy through them to the source. So now if I'm sending an intention from this side and it's going through this individual that has issues, then my love through that energy that's being pushed through that person to go to the divine, that's me helping remove that negative thing that's holding whatever this person's going through back. I'm pushing it out of them with my frequency and I'm pushing it to the divine. So now that filtration is sending it where the source is filtering it and sending it back to empower that being. All praise due to the Most High. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm just trying to show you something. Naga the wise.